Hello, everyone. Today you will hear an interesting story. It's in my childhood. I listened with great interest to my father, who told stories about gold mining. The search for wealth has been in my head since an early age, and this interest did not disappear with age. I actively studied the features of this craft. Of course, such an activity is not for everyone. You need not only to be very good at all the intricacies, but also to have a decent amount of money to purchase all the necessary equipment and hire a team, as well as rent a place where you can mine gold. But this idea did not go out of my head. I was sure that I could find a real gold mine. I had a small business through which I could pay for the necessities of life and save money. During this time, I met Jennifer. I liked to spend my free time in one bar. It was not some special place for an ordinary passerby. Staying here with friends and relatives, we celebrated many significant events, and in addition to the holidays, we like to come here and relax. The bar was near the private sector. It wasn't crowded here, but I liked that about this place. This place has always been clean and tidy. I've known the owner of this place for a long time. This man skillfully looked after this bar. I decided to go to this bar in the late afternoon and drink local beer. It was an excellent drink. It had a special wheaten aroma and bitterness, which perfectly complemented the rich taste. I went to the bartender and ordered a glass of beer. The bartender poured the beer into a glass and handed it to me. I somehow turned around sharply and did not notice the girl who was walking nearby, apparently going to the women's room. I accidentally spilled my beer right on her crisp white blouse.
And man, what have you done? Can you be more careful? You nearly knocked me off my feet, the girl said, indignant, brushing off her wet blouse.
Girl, please excuse me. I accidentally didn't notice you. I started making excuses.
We'll be more careful next time, these, she angrily answered and went to the ladies' room.
She was an adorable creature. The girl had brown eyes and beautiful long brown hair. Her appearance just blew me away. I have never seen her here before. I felt very embarrassed and wanted to make amends. I ran to a flower boutique nearby and bought a large bouquet of beautiful red roses. I came wetty wine. When the girl left the ladies' room, I quickly got up from the table and walked over to her. Girl, this is for you. Excuse me again. I am a clumsy bear who sincerely asks for your forgiveness, I said, offering her the flowers. Unfortunately, I don't know what kind of flowers you like. And of flowers you like. So I approached you with such a bouquet. Very beautiful flowers. I love red roses. Thank you, but you shouldn't. In confusion, but with a smile, the girl answered, how worth it? Please accept this bouquet, otherwise I will not forgive myself. And if I may ask, what is your name? Okay, the flowers are just amazing. Thanks a lot. My name is Jennifer. A childhood girl smiled, hugging a bouquet of flowers. Nice to meet you, Jennifer, and my name is Brian. Next, I invited Jennifer to sit down at a table and chat if she was in no hurry, and she agreed. It was an incredibly beautiful evening. Jennifer smiled and laughed, filling my heart with warmth. after that, we agreed to meet again. And our conversation continued. Yes, and it's been 15 years since Jennifer and I got married. Life was not easy, but we always stayed together and experienced everything together, no matter what happened. I collected money for a long time. I even had to take out a loan to buy the necessary equipment. But still, I reached my goal. My best friend Peter also believed in my idea. He was one of the first in my team. We found excellent people who could work unconditionally in any conditions, day and night. We found and rented a territory where, by all indications, there should have been a gold mine. Everything worked. Nearby was a reservoir filled with a small river, which also flowed nearby. From there, water was taken for washing and sifting the rock. Everything worked like clockwork, and soon it gave its results. But the first grains of gold shone in special compartments. This greatly lifted our spirits and redoubled our efforts. I couldn't be happier with what happened. We received the first large incomes that allowed me to get out of the debt hole and even more. Everyone was happy. But one day something happened that changed everything. The mined gold was temporarily stored in a small building that was built nearby. Here the whole team could relax and have lunch. The gold was kept in a safe. Usually, gold did not lie here for a long time. I transported it to a special storage. But one day I noticed that there was less gold in the safe than it should have been. It just shocked me. I noticed this after I started weighing every small handful of gold that was mined. Prior to this procedure was done less often. In the total weight, I noticed that there was less gold than it should have been. Arturiel, all this happened against the backdrop of the fact that we took a new member to the team, Stephen. The guy was hardworking, but very secretive. I noticed more than once how he was spinning near the safe. And of course, in the first place, suspicion fell on Stephen. Because I trusted the rest of my colleagues as myself. We've been working together for quite some time. We have been together for quite some time now, and I couldn't even think bad things about either of them. But only I knew the code for the safe. How could he know about it? I decided not to make a fuss about the theft in the first place. I decided to try to figure it out myself first. First of all, I decided to talk to Stephen himself. Stephen, can you take a break from work for a while? I want to talk to you. I called Stephen. Yes, Brian, I'm coming now. Stephen called back. What's happened? Stephen asked as he approached me. Sit down, Stephen. Tell me, do you like working for us? Yes, Brian. I am very grateful to you and the team for giving me a chance. Stephen replied in the affirmative. Well, is what you earn now enough for you? Do you need even more money or do you have some problems?
Buy-in, this is even more than I expected, but I've no problems. Everything is fine.
Why are you asking?
Buy-in? Of course not. Understanding I'm new to your team, but I'd never go for this.
Do you suspect me of something?
Though, Stephen,
I decided to unexpectedly have such a conversation with you to see your reaction. I consider it a test you passed. But it's better not to tell anyone about this conversation so that there is no distrust in the team. Got it, Brian. Okay, thanks. I can go. Yes, Stephen, go. I didn't even doubt that Stephen would answer that way. But I wanted to look into his eyes. Much to my surprise, I saw sincerity in Stephen's eyes. This completely baffled me. But this guy, I really didn't know much about the other guys. Perhaps he was an experienced liar and was able to wrap me around his finger. I got paranoid. I tried to figure out the thief until they started talking about it in my team. I didn't take my eyes off Stephen, but he didn't do anything suspicious. I have installed hidden cameras at work and even at home. I watched everything that happened for several days. Nobody approached the safe. But suddenly on one of the surveillance cameras, I noticed Peter, he was getting something from his locker, while he constantly looked around. This made me very anxious. But the next thing I saw and heard just stunned me. I did not see anything else suspicious on the cameras at the workplace. My head was seething with thoughts. I decided to digress. I remembered about the cameras installed at home. I decided to check them too. I was switching the video and suddenly, in the hall, I noticed Peter and Jennifer. It was quite unexpected. Well, Jennifer, I told you that your husband is an idiot. And you worried in vain. Thank you very much for scouting the safe code. At Vercordium's, this sheep will never guess that we are stealing gold. It is perfectly safe, but let him lie at home for now. We will hand over the gold later, so as not to attract attention. I hid it safely in the basement. Brian doesn't go there at all. So, you can take this part there to the top shelf and put it in a box. Excellent, Jennifer. We'll be rich soon. Let's get the most out of Brian, Peter said with a smile, sorting through the stolen gold in his hands. Well, now, my sweet, let's have some fun. What panties are you wearing today? Or are you already without them? Peter asked and reached out to touch Jennifer's ass. Peter bent over Jennifer, pulled off her panties, and began to have his way right next to the sofa. What I saw just paralyzed my mind and body. I couldn't move. And then, a cocktail of despair and anger began to spread throughout my body. I was shaking, and I threw the computer screen against the wall. I would never have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. It turns out that Stephen really had nothing to do with it. My best friend was in cahoots with my wife and fucked her behind my back. And this is after I brought him to this project. It was very painful because I trusted Peter. Always counted on him. After a while, I did realize what was happening. Anger surged up inside me again. I wanted to take revenge on these scumbags to punish them. I tried to calm down a bit. A chance that even back in after called Peter, hello, where are you now? I asked.
Hi, Brian, I'm driving around the city. Why? We need you to come to the mine. We need your help. On another request, you can come to my house and grab Jennifer. I want to show her something. She will like it.
Okay, Brian, I'll do that. Did you find something? Yes, Peter, you should see it too. This is something incredible. Ouch, you have intrigued me. Okay, we'll be there soon. I was waiting for these bastards on the spot. After a while, I saw Peter's SUV kicking up a column of dust on the road. Brian, we've arrived. Can you show me what you've got? Peter said as he got out of the car, followed by Jennifer. Yes, guys, come into the house. There is a bundle on the table. You can unfold it and look, I said with a smirk. Peter and Jennifer went inside the building and approached a table on which lay something wrapped in a piece of cloth. Peter unwrapped the package that contained the phone. Brian, what's the phone doing here? And turn on the video on your phone.
And that's right after a while I saw Peter Selvey kicking up a column of dust on the road. Peter unwrapped the package that contained the phone. So Brian, what's the phone doing here? And turn on the video on your phone.
Peter turned on a video of him having fun with Jennifer. At that moment, there was a click of reloading the gun, which I pointed at them. Well, you bastards, you thought I wouldn't guess. Peter, well, you unbastard. I believed you as myself, and you treated me like that. Brian, calm down. Don't do stupid things that you might regret. Peter tried to calm me down. Shut your mouth, bitch, I shouted and cracked the butt of my gun right in the teeth of this bastard. Peter, whining in pain, fell to the floor. And you, creature, how do you feel? I see you don't suffer too much conscience. I told Jennifer, Brian, let me go. I'll give you everything back. What can you give me back? Can you give me 15 years back? I already know where you hide the stolen gold. There is no point in begging and asking me. You made your choice, and I made my choice. Fuck you bastards. I'm not going to forgive, and both of you will pay me a huge price for betrayal. I tied up these creatures and forced them to climb into the bucket of an excavator. Then I tied heavy bags of stones to their feet. I'll throw you creatures into the same lake. You will choke. This will be your home. I told those bastards. First, they began to squirm like snakes in a hot pan, trying to get out, but they did not succeed. Their eyes were filled with horror and despair. They understood that now their life would end, but they could not do anything about it. I turned the backhoe bucket over the lake and turned it over, those bastards screaming, flying down. But they did not drown. It was shallow below. In this part of the lake there was more mud than water, but they did not know this. They fell into this thicket and wallowed in it like a couple of pigs. I enjoyed watching from above their useless attempts to get out. I threw a knife to the shore for these bastards so they could cut the ropes. All bitches will live on, but your life will not be sweet. Jennifer, do not return home. Consider that your things are not there either. I will burn them. And you will get to the city on foot, on voyage. Nits, I said, then threw their phones into the water and threw away the car keys. I went home away from those dirty bastards. I told my guys everything. They were shocked. They also did not expect this from either Peter or Jennifer. I returned the gold and handed over the compromising video to the police. These bastards were put behind bars for theft. But I was not going to get them out of there. They deserve everything that happened to them. And I continued to do my favorite thing, extracting even more gold. Dear listeners, your support is very important to us. Subscribe, please. It's very motivating for us. We need your feedback to improve our content.